Yes, hi, you are.
Hello, Assalamu alaikum, madam. Am I audible?
Walaikum
Yes,
salam.
yes,
Yes, you are.
Thank you, madam. With your kind permission, may I start, madam?
yes, yes.
Thank you. Respected faculties of Dhaka School of Economics, dear students, and all the other guests from different sectors and organizations. I am S. Jubair Ahmed, adjunct faculty of Entrepreneurship Economics Department of Dhaka School of Economics. I am privileged to invite you to this auspicious session on on understanding the behavioral economics for entrepreneurship. Today, we have an excellent and exceptional guest to speak a few words for us, Mr. Dr. Sanaul Haque. He is a bachelor business information systems from University of East London and Masters in Telecommunications from Queenberry University of London and a PhD in Medicine from the University of Oulu, Finland. Currently, he has also a certification in teaching learning from Southeast Technology University, Ireland. Currently, he has been working as a lecturer and researcher in Lud Sustainable Software Group in Lud University of Ireland, and also he is supervising PhD and master student senior behavior at Kolkern and Behavioral Analytics of Finland, and he has multidisciplinary research interest that how digital interventions can be sustained business behavioral change perspective. He has achieved many degrees, many certifications, and has gained a lot of recognitions. Currently, he is the co-principal investigator in the Erasmus funded project starts in EU consortium, and also he is the first ever behavioral scientist in Bangladesh. So without further ado, I would like to invite Mr. Sanaul Haque to grace us with his presence and to deliver a lecture to the students of Entrepreneurship Economics Department. With that, I thank you all and invite Mr. Sanaul Haque.
Thank you very much. Thanks very much indeed. Am I audible? I hope everyone can hear me very well. Jabar, can you
Yes, you
just...
are.
Thank you. Yeah, so... so good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining today. I'll not be that much boring, but I will try to finish as much as possible. We have 1 hour. We already have killed 10 minutes, but that's not a problem. As you can see that what I'm trying to connect today is the entrepreneurship and also the behavioral economics. As already Mr. Jubair mentioned that I have a multidisciplinary domain, and also within this behavioral economics domain, this has been sort of playing for with the psychology and neuroscience and also a different part of the research context. So it's quite interesting. Okay, so can you guys just imagine that you are the leader of the world and how are you going to change it? Any comments from the audience? If you are the main leader.
Yes, maybe I would love to solve a specific problem as a leader.
Such as? Can you describe so what kind of problem you'll be solving?
There are various problems in this world, but if I would be a leader, maybe I would reduce the poverty, or I would try
Yeah.
to reduce.
Okay, I cannot hear you.
As a
Sorry.
leader, I would love to, yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, now
Sorry.
I can hear you. Sorry, there was some network issue. Yeah, go on, please.
Okay. Okay. As a leader, I would love to reduce poverty from this world. Maybe it's not possible completely. I would try. I think uh, it's a major or core problem
Yeah, yeah.
which should be reduced by us or by us.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I sort of understand what you're trying to highlight here. It is possible actually, and I'll be showing you guys. So the thing is that what you are focusing here, reducing the poverty, it goes with the sustainability. And today, exactly what we are connecting here. So, I mean, guys, can you hear me? Of course, right? Because some problem from Sajina's side. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, we can
Okay,
hear you.
so if I connect with her statement, so Sanjina or Sajia, what she was highlighting, reducing the poverty, right? So right now, you see, with the problem with the world, we are going through a lot of problems. Excuse me, the air pollution, which is of course Dhaka is in the top ranked list, and the heat problem is all over the world, and that's everywhere. And the temperature is increasing. Thus, the ices are melting, so the situation is horrible, and we have to come up with the solutions. So the top leaders are really trying, and they're giving their best effort to come up with the solution. And that's how the UN, they came up with SDG 17 goals. Of course, most of you are familiar with these 17 goals. If you are not, then I mean, you can just search online and you get this information. So reducing the poverty is one of it. Now, again, asking the questions, if I connect with the poverty or even the sustainability, if you think you are a leader and then you are working to change the world, even to influence the other people, then what comes to you at the beginning for the better future? It comes with the small task. It comes with the small steps. So every little short steps count. So, giving an example of changing our habit or even doing some small steps, this can be connected with the poverty. This can be connected with the unemployment rate increase or something like that. Now, again, the question comes, as an entrepreneur, how can we proceed with better economic decision making for a green economy? Why I am asking this to you? So this is 2025. There is a war going on in Ukraine, just actually 3 or 4 kilometers from my home, located in Finland. And what we have learned so far after the 2 years, it's horrible. I mean, even now there's a situation going on in the Middle East as well. So the situations are not stable. Now, asking again, if you think yourself as an entrepreneur who wants to change the world, what kind of actions you'd like to take right now? So, if you want to do something, maybe opening a startup, what could be something you'd like to do? Are you planning to sell ice cream, or like what Sanjina or Sajia was mentioning about reducing poverty, and how are you going to do it? Any answer from the audience? It looks like everyone is confused. If there is no comments, should I go to the next slide? Excuse me. Right. Okay. So, of course, you know this. Some of you might have already read it, or you have done it as a part of your coursework, or even as a part of your training, or even with the practical life context. When we think about the entrepreneurial process, if you are planning to do some opening some SMEs, or trying to do some startup by yourself, there is a time interval that has to be done or have to be followed by this kind of process. As you can see, like 3.5 years could be something it might take, excuse me, to establish your own business. But then after 3.5 years or even after 4 years, will it be feasible? Do you think your business connecting to changing the world, connecting with the sustainability, will it be sustained? Will people accept you? Will people accept the thing what you are trying to add? There are different kind of entrepreneurs, managers, and capitalists, as per mentioned by Kivro and Ribeiro. But then again, we also need to be understand that the characteristics of this different kind of people are different. So if you are thinking from the capitalist side, his or her requirements is not the same like what the entrepreneur is talking about. So we also need to study different stakeholders' interest, what type of activities they are capable of. So what kind of behavior they deal. Now, if you go with the table, you can see from the literatures what we have found that the entrepreneurs are always ready to accept the risk. They are always, excuse me, explores new business leadership and initiates new ways of pretending or doing acting, identifies business opportunities and creating new arenas. How can we really find the stakeholders? Because if I am the entrepreneur, if I want to do some kind of work, how can I try to connect the stakeholders who are part of my business? Let's say I have opened an ice cream shop. That is, I have the customers who are buying the products from me, and I am the ice cream man who is selling, and but someone is also investing money for the ice cream freezer or the car, who is the capitalist, right? Now, this has been proposed by Bryant a long time back. So basically, this screenshot has been taken from one of our papers. If the stakeholders of if the people are connected with multiple issues, we can connect and try to find the relevant stakeholders. Of course, from the business context, there are two types of stakeholders, primary and secondary. But it's very important to know the relevant stakeholders if you are really planning to establish yourself as a true entrepreneur. Also, we need to think from the other side, CSR, which is quite popular in the business domain, which is highlighted as corporate social responsibility. That integrates actually the social and environmental concerns into its functions, and at the same time connecting with the relevant stakeholders. We are then focusing on the long-term goal of the business and the resources that is connected with it, what kind of responsibilities are working among the stakeholders, what kind of market is going on and will be working after 5 or 10 years. Are you following the ethics from the country context or even from the regional or geographical context? Are you following the sustainability context or the issues, such as reducing the poverty maybe? Now, question comes again, do we need to change our economic behavior? Do we need to change our economic behavior on a sustainable manner? Why and why not? Maybe at the personal level, because we can think of improving the health, maybe to become a more resilient person, boost our professional success, maybe enjoying ourselves, or even at the public level, saving money. Of course, we all love to save money because according to research, people really love the money than what you're watching in the context of money as a cash. Let's giving an example. If someone is buying some products from the credit card, like what I do, I buy things with my credit card because I really would like to keep my money in my pocket because that's something more precious than using the credit card. So just an example. So improve the relationships with your relatives or even communities. Now, again, that's what I was mentioning a few minutes ago. Why do we need to change our economic behavior? What have we learned from the Ukraine war and the other political conflicts in the Middle East and the other regions, and the political unrest situation in South Asian region? What is our lesson learned, actually? That's a big question because now we have to rethink, we have to reset our mind button. What should be done in the future? Now, that's why we are giving this talk today, and we talk about this economics. Of course, we know Adam Smith. Now, there are two types of economics, macro and micro, right? That's what we all know. But have you thought of, guys, this microeconomics? Because when Sanjay or Sajia was talking about reducing the poverty, it directly go with the individual level. That's more with the micro level. And Adam Smith in the 18th century, and he argued that people like me, that individual self-interest and my urge or desires, it dramatically influence economic behavior. Now, because what Adam Smith realized nearly 250 years ago, he wrote a book as well, and then people like this guy, Daniel Kahneman, apologies for the spelling, Kahneman. This guy is, we call him the grandfather of behavioral economics. This guy restudied again, and he mentioned that people react to changes in relation to gains and losses. I give you an example. I was using my credit card, and what happened, I was really enjoying the credit card, but then suddenly when the Ukraine war started, they were the price of the food and the accommodations expenses, it gone so high, and I was sort of over my limit. So I was paying a lot of interest, and I couldn't do this balancing. So the zero balance, I'm still on the minus balance, by the way. So what I have learned from there, that with the loss, that I have to be very careful right now to expense in my daily life. So I'm trying to cut my cost. And exactly this guy was highlighting this, and he got this Nobel Prize in 2002. Now, after extending this work, this behavioral economics, Richard Thaler, he came up with this interesting concept, which is called nudge theory. It means pushing people, every small push. Um, um, some of you might be you guys are living a happily married life. Imagine your husband or your wife is pinching you with some of the thing. It might happen, maybe for doing some fun, but that pinching with small statement could push you positively or negatively. So in this, the concept with the nudge is you push people by small task or even small steps. So what Richard Thaler came up with this is using positive reinforcement, not the negative one, and indirect suggestions to influence our behavior. Now, question and kind of the way that we are working on, like in our research group or even the academics and scholars are working, focusing on this kind of concept. And because now there are a lot of things are happening, we are focusing more on the sustainability, and design thinking is something that gives a better platform to our sustainable actions to all the citizens, stakeholders, or customers, whatever. Design thinking, this concept is connected with you can think of your product or with your services. I'm going through a bit of description with it after a few minutes, but then when I am talking about sustainability, There is a new term came recently. It's called digital sustainability. Now, what do we understand by this? Okay, there is some text. I'm not going to reading with it, but it's a pretty simple concept that designing and developing and proper applying of digital artifacts. And I'd like to request Arif to turn off your microphone, please. Arif, can you please turn off your microphone? Thank you. So yeah, and digital resources like blockchain and cloud computing, these are already, you can see if some of you are working in the IT industry or even in the normal physical infrastructure, these are connected. So if you're thinking on that, I mean, this is something you can really connect. I give you one example
Can
before
we
going
say,
through with the slide. Do you know that how much carbon you are emitting from your mobile phone when you're using the AI-based applications like ChatGPT or DeepSeek? It's a lot, actually. So you are also part of polluting the environment by only using your phone. So anyway, what I was trying to say is using AI machine is more not environmental friendly at the moment. So scientists are researching more of how to make these AI applications more environment friendly. So what we are focusing in this talk today is creating awareness among citizens and stakeholders for sort of more concrete action plans and to design and developing a community-based any kind of platform that we can think of. If you think about your business or someone wants to do something, finding the proper feasibility and usability study of your service, if you have any, and finding the impact of your service, if this is connecting with the technology, but not necessarily that you think of developing a software, because I have come from a technical background, software engineering background, but you can imagine a physical product as well, like a plastic bottle, or if you would like to produce for selling the water or even the furniture, something like this. Now, what is the
or
outcome of it?
maybe vegan food?
Yeah, why not? Absolutely. Yes, we can think of that as well. So the expected outcomes, what we are focusing here, better decision making, example, less energy consumption among the citizens, because in Bangladesh, we people are wasting a lot of energy. Where if we can realize for the last couple of days, there's some problem with the electricity. Now I'm in Rajshahi, and since yesterday I'm facing some internet and electricity problem. By the way, if I cut off from my session today, so it just you can think of that the electricity is gone because of the power shortage, right? And I will be connecting from my mobile phone internet, so that's not a problem. So increasing community interaction and social business. Okay, now with the social business that you can do. So this Nobel laureate Professor Yunus, he has this 3-0 concept that can be connected as well. It's pretty interesting. With that, you can try to see what kind of things you can explore. So now, when I talk about this now, how I will be doing this, this is something now I always try to highlight this design thinking process. It's an iterative process that connects all the things. It has few steps, and then we will be talking about, we'll do some experimental study, right? How can you do it? So imagine I am opening a business and I am thinking about my the stakeholders and what I'm thinking about sustainability. So my product will be running, people will be using it for 100 years, and it will not be destroying our environment, and it will not affect anything. Right. So now, so the design thinking, it's an iterative process which has come up with 6 steps. Previously, it was coming up with 5 steps, but basically, firstly, you go to people. Let's say if you have few stakeholders that you have found out within your business or within the whatever the small part of the organization you're working on, you talk with them, you try to feel their empathy, you try to gather the information from them, and you do the summarize, and then you try to define the problem. What kind of problem we are focusing as a part of that business, and what we are trying, how can we overcome it, which comes with the ideation. So the ideation gives you some sort of solution that is leading of developing some system. Now, in this technical domain, we call it as a prototyping. But of course, if in your business, it can be a physical prototyping, like if you are opening শাড়ি store, so একটা শাড়ির দোকান যদি আপনারা open করেন, adding technology or modern enhanced facilities, that can be a good example of a good prototype. And then you do the testing. Make sure you do the testing with the right user. So for example, if I choose the bad tester, আপনারা দেখবেন যখন অনেক সময়, just speaking, giving a small example, someone, when I'll just give you a practical example of what is wrong with the testing sometimes, and then you do the implementations. Experimental study, then the next step, what we try to focus, actually this concept has come from medical science. So basically what happened is, when you do this experimental study, you can compare with two different groups. So let's say I give you an example. If you can test your product or your service or your business with the stakeholders, the relevant stakeholders, with your existing solution, and you do the same sort of testing with the newly developed solution, that is your one. So the existing one could be your competitors or your the other existing business in the market. And then you can try to analyze and compare. Now comes again, how do we contribute to better sustainable actions from our side with the business? Economic behavior change, how can you do it? That's something I'm talking right now. Okay, so we don't have that much time, but this is something I'm talking again in today's lecture. So I'll be talking about some behavior change methods and metrics, and how can we collect users or customers or clients' data, and how can we analyze behavior data in the short term and long term. Giving the example of economic behavior change methods or something, we always focus on influencing towards teamwork. Please work and try to connect people when you are doing something. And this comes more about pushing the other people as well. And now in your product, how you're pushing, that's a fact. So economic behavior for digital sustainability, this can be achieved through this nudging concept, what I mentioned you before. For example, to change, so you can mention something that if people are using your product, they are changing their bad habits or reinforce energy, something like this. For example, this guy from Bremen from 2022 identifies several nudging way of connecting people and running this business, including the goal setting, defaults, getting the feedback from the people, social reference, framing, which can facilitate behavior change. Where Shevchuk in 2019 found that gamification, if you have heard of, so giving people rewards and points and badges, and this is also can be connected as a design feature in promoting sustainable energy behaviors, or even promoting people to be using that product that is connecting your interest. Okay, so now this, when I talk about gamification, it's called from the research point of view, persuasive technology. So you can see all kind of these points and something like that. This is the example of persuasive technology. So I have been working with this since 2013 when I started my master's thesis. And there are some ways of doing this. My colleagues are working in Finland. This is sort of the model. I'm now just going to read with that because it will be blowing your mind. But anyway, there are some other theories people are also using when they are developing their business, such as this self-determination theory. It's very famous. That guy Desian Ryan, he's based in Australia, and he has been using this theory and applying into his, a lot of research context, and there are a lot of questions, both qualitative and quantitative, that allows people to do this assessment. And of course, the nudge technique is there. We can try to push people. Just giving you one example. This is an example from USA. People are really trying to reduce eating their junk food, and they're trying to eat less, and also becoming more careful in their daily life and working and doing some bad habits. So on the left and right picture, you can see as a good example of nudging. Now, economic behavior metrics. I give you one example. Customer lifetime value. It's pretty important. This is a quantitative indicators of your customers' actual observations, duration, frequency, and retention. Now, in the marketing field, they call it customer lifetime value, but I call it user lifetime value or stakeholder lifetime value. So you can just have a look on that. It's called customer lifetime value or user lifetime value, CLV, right? How you are doing the calculation? Very much simple. Let's say you have some customer who is getting the revenue of this amount of money per year, and the average lifetime of the customer is 5 years, which means after 5 years, the customer will not use it. So in your business, please do this assessment that your customer, will he be using that product for 5 years or 3 years? Excuse me. And then the customer lifetime value, how can you measure it? You just divide it. So, and then when you divide it and you get this amount, so this is sort of the value that you get from the customer, and then you rate it. I have one question from you guys. Do you know what is the percentage of the real customer or clients into the business who are the actual real customers? Any answers?
So 20.
Pretty much close. And on why you are saying the 20? Do you
So
have
there's a
some?
technique called 80-20. 20% product at the main market for a company. There, we used to also say that 20% our loyal customers are the main customers and
Yeah,
potential customers and
right.
long-term customers.
Right. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I think it's pretty much close. So my colleague, who is the owner of this, I mean the CEO of this Quality Behavioral Analytics, that I'm also part of this startup, which is located in Finland. What he was showing me that with the data, actually there's 10% customers. So he was analyzing those data that who are the real customers who are using it. I mean, 20% could be, of course, could be done, but what from our research, what we have seen that this 10% people are actually buying your product, and rest of them are sometimes maybe logged in. So that this 10%, I think what I can connect this with this service. So internet-based services, I would say. Let's give you an example with Netflix or maybe Amazon or Geo, something like this. And why he was telling this, because some of the people, they do the subscription and after 1 or 2 months they do the dropout. And of course, we know from the value of debt, it's a sort of similar with the value of debt, if you're familiar with this. So once the startup is open, and then 90% of the startups are are not lasting. So only 10% of it are surviving, same like that. So now I have a question. So if you think about your business, because what I was asking you at the beginning of my talk today, you are the leader to change the world. Um, Someone mentioned that reducing the poverty, you have a business that you are focusing to reduce the poverty. People are attracted to it. Now I mentioned example average annual energy consumed. So what I was focusing on energy consumed, how to reduce energy consumption among the people, because there is an load shedding going on in Bangladesh right now. So that's why I was preparing the slide in the morning today with this. But now when Sanjia or Sajia was mentioning about reducing the poverty, if we are to focus on reducing the poverty, if you are an entrepreneur, the amount of time, and then how can you calculate the CLV value in the customer or even the stakeholder behavior economic context, when we don't consider money. So, definitely you can use the CLV and apply it into your business. This will give you a wonderful result. I think I can go to the next slide. I wanted to really play with you guys, but because of the short time. But then again, there are some quantitative measurements. Of course, we have been doing a lot of surveys and kind of stuff, but scientists, they have done some existing tactics, such as the testing methods. You can follow these testing methods. You get some feedback of it, and you do analyzing. There's some usability testing in the IT, but you can apply into your business as well. It's called SAS, 10 questions, quantitative questions, something like this, 1 to 5 scale. And then this is sort of the calculation. I have been using this in my research a lot. And then if the grade is more than 80, it's an excellent work with the testing. But then what comes after the testing? I'll give you one example. We ran a hackathon in our university, and you can see these low grades with the usability testing. Now, what was the reason among the group? So these people, they have developed these
May I ask
some
a question,
softwares.
please?
Yes, Jobar, please.
Could you please discuss a bit more about the SAS questions and how do we score or how do we grade this?
Okay, so interesting. So the SAS, if you just go with this, so this has been designed in 1996. It's a quick processing. It's actually free. It doesn't cost a lot of money. Basically, it is focusing more to evaluate the user satisfaction. Um, and if there is something to improve within your service or within your business, basically we focus more on the software, hardware, or website context. For example, if you are the owner of a pizza shop, or you have this online service, if the customers are happy with the websites, or even, this can be also applied in the garments factory as well, or even in the shop if people are buying some clothes. Okay, so this is 10 question. You give it to the people when they have used it. So for example, if I am a customer, if I go to the store, if I am buying a t-shirt, if I am buying a watch or a sunglass, and then you go and fill up this question 1 to 5, 1 to 2 minutes. This is how you do the calculation. Okay, I can guys show you how to do this X0 and kind of stuff. It's in my research papers as well, but because to keep the time, I will not be guys just going through with that. So I can share my slides with you. Mr. Jobar has my slides. But when you calculate the score, if the score is below more than 80, it means your service or your system or even your product, it is recommended as a good satisfied product or service. Now, coming up with these 4 groups, why their score were low? Because when they did the testing, now if you can remember, when I was focusing on the testing, Because what we learned from that, the system did not follow the user-centered design approach, which was the design thinking. So the system, when they developed, or the product, what they developed, it didn't follow the design thinking steps. And they only tested with low number of testers. And you also need to be making sure that you cannot like ask your friend, hey, can you just fill this up? You have to find the real seller, the buyer, or the real customers, right? So, or the stakeholders. And the interface, what they developed was complex, so more simple thing. People, they don't have time at the moment. There are a lot of thousands and millions of applications. So the interface or even the product has to be very much simple. And also one thing, important thing, what we have been realizing a lot into our research, that when people are using it, if you are going with some customers, they are pretending that they're testing it, they're using it, but they are not actually the real. They don't feel it. So what I would do if I have like giving an example of cat's eye, if I would like to get the feedback, how is my shirt quality? I would get the data from the customers at that time, rather than sending them the questions later when they go to home, because people will be following. Another thing, what we have found, the competition or envy. People do compete, but this is something we can also transform in a way that we can design the product in a way that people can choose different kind of products, so they don't feel that sort of competitions. Another kind of questions that it's also being developed, it's called UE questionnaire, which has focused on attractiveness of the customers, dependability, efficiency, novelty, perspicuity, and stimulation. So these questions focusing on these themes, 6 themes, right? Same 1 to 5, like at scale, that you can focus and you can analyze it. Now, if you do with the qualitative approach, in our research group, what we are focusing more, it's called SUSAF framework, sustainable framework, which we are focusing on 5 different dimensions. In the middle is the website of the Airbnb, and you can have a look at just how we are trying to see from the individual side how the Airbnb is giving us the positive and negative experience, social side of it, environmental side of it. Is it something bringing negative impacts, or economic side and the technical side of it? Now, there are some actually also questions for this SUSAP questionnaire. Those are qualitative questions. You can get it online. But of course, you can do this semi-structured interviews with the experts or with your customers or the stakeholders. No problem. But then again, the question comes, we need to really evaluate the long-term effect of your product or service over changing the behavior. So in the short term, let's say I give you an example. আজকে আপনি আমার যে লেকচার 1 ঘন্টা লেকচার ছিল, আপনাদের definitely I can tell you guys that you will be just say awesome lecture today because আমি just 1 ঘন্টার জন্য এসেছিলাম. But same আমি যদি if I come for 1 year or 2 years, you might find my lecture, okay, that guy is okay, plus and minus. So what I'm focusing here, we always need to be updating and also defining the parameters of what are the requirements of your products, and what your customers or your clients really want. So what the stakeholders are changing, people are changing, the world is changing, everything is changing. So make sure that your business is not within this value of debt 90%. So that's how you have to calculate what will happen after 5 years, after 10 years. So you'll have to have a short-term and long-term goal. So you do the testing. So এটা বলার উদ্দেশ্য হচ্ছে, so you do this longitudinal study. What technique that I have mentioned you, only filling one questionnaire maybe for 5 minutes, it doesn't give you a good result. You can play with the same user and you can do the testing over time to time, maybe every week, every month, and then you can analyze which users are the real users. After 1 or 2 years time, you can see how many people they have filled up these questions or whatever, and what kind of data they are giving you, and based on that you can really study their behavior, and then you can design your products based on that. So thanks very much, guys. I really wanted to make it more longer, but because to keep the time, it's almost close to 8. I would like to close my session right now. This is a picture actually from Finland. It's during the glacier period, 12,000 years ago. The stone I can see on the top of it, এটা আসলে ন্যাচারালি প্রাকৃতিকভাবে এই পাথরের উপর পড়ে এসেছিল। সো এটা বেসিক্যালি এখানে দেখতে পাচ্ছেন, এটা একটা বড় বরফের একটা লেক ছিল। সো দেন দ্য বরফ গলে যাওয়ার পর it turned out as a jungle and something like this. So just showing you guys. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sanaul Haque, for your wonderful presentation and nice session. I am sure that all the participants have been enriched